Hello and welcome to the 15th installment of my grading of all of the expansion cards in Terraforming Mars. This is the 4th episode on Colonies. As always, if you want insight into the grading system, check out the description or click on the link in the top right hand corner to get to the first video, where I explain it all. If you want to know how I go about ranking the expansion cards compared to the base game cards, check out the first video of rating expansion cards, which is also linked in the description. But let's get started. We kick off today's video with a truly weird card. Impactor Swarm grants a ton of instant heat, which makes it seem like a pure rush card. But to play it, you need to have 2 Jovians down. What the hell? But before we talk about this obvious mismatch, we'll find out whether or not this card is a good deal on its own. For 11 plus 3 MC, you get 12 heat, so basically 1.5 heat bumps as well as 2 plant destruction. Let's compare that to Asteroid. That card costs 3 MC more on the face of it, but due to the 2 titanium you get back, it's 3 MC cheaper in reality and grants 1 more plant destruction. Still, Impactor Swarm seems okay. It costs roughly 27% more, but grants 50% more heat. But here we need to get back to the first thing we discussed. The mismatch between what this card does and the game plan its requirement forces you to go for. Asteroid can be played by any rush player no matter when. Impactor Swarm requires you to have 2 frickin' Jovians down, and when exactly is that going to happen if you're rushing? Sure, you can certainly also play this in an engine setup as a titanium dump, but then you might even run into the problem of not being able to spend the remaining 4 heat due to not having any heat prod. At least it has quite a bit of combo potential as a space event, and of course I have to mention that it's the absolute best card to steal Thermalist with, but I still think that this card is just too clunky with its requirement to be consistently good. It's a high D tier card for me. I already spoiled the rating of the next card in the last episode, but of course we will now discuss it in full detail. Interplanetary Colony Ship is the benchmark for colony placing cards, as it is just that. A card that only does one thing, placing a colony. To understand why this card does not go into C tier where a lot of other benchmark cards go, you need to understand why colonies and trading are so great. Basically, trading allows you to exchange one type of resource into more resources, likely of a different kind. You also have some flexibility in choosing which resources you want, since there are multiple colonies in the game, and even if you don't necessarily need the resources right away, you can at least deny them from your opponents. Especially trading using power is insanely strong, and you'll want to do it in each gen if you can. Since everyone in the game will be trading nearly each gen, and colonies give you great bonuses for that as well as a one-time payoff, colonies are by extension really strong. They are so strong that many players will even use a standard project in Gen 1 to secure a place on the best colony tile, especially if Pluto or Luna are in the game. This means that Interplanetary Colony Ship, which lets you place a colony for 2 MC less than the SP, is actually a B tier card in my opinion. In addition of just being a cheap and easy way of getting a colony down, it also has a ton of combo potential and can be paid for with titanium. It's just an overall really solid card. Next up, we get to one of the most dangerous cards in this expansion, but also one that requires the right setup. It's basically the Venusian animals of colonies. Jovian Lanterns. With a cost of 20 MC, no space tech and that nasty Jovian requirement, it can be pretty annoying to get down, and as a pure point card, it is obviously only playable for an engine player. Also, you need titanium prod to constantly use it. But if you're going for a long game and can afford it relatively early on, this can be an insane point card. Why, you might ask? It seems like a more expensive version of Security Fleet. Well, the big difference is that on Jovian Lanterns you score your points with floaters, which not only means that there are quite a few cards to combo this with, but also that you can combine it with regular trips to Titan to score 1,000,000 points. Also in contrast to Security Fleet, Jovian Lanterns has already scored 3 points after its first activation, so it's also a much better late game point dump. I mean it if I say that this card is dangerous. If you pass this to an engine player with some card draw, Titanium Prod and Titan in game, be prepared to be outscored by just this one card. Obviously it also has some combo potential like Credit Core, Vitor or the Jovian multipliers, and it helps on Rim Settler and Celebrity, but that's all more or less irrelevant in comparison to its scoring potential in those 11th gen Colonies Clown Fiestas. Even though it's useless for Rush, I still think it's an absolute threat in a draft, and I think it belongs in low A tier. And now we get to a card that combos wonderfully with Jovian Lanterns, Jupiter Floating Station. I think it's quite easy to rank this since we've already gone over floater prototypes. Basically, Jupiter Floating Station has a few downsides compared to that card, as well as a few upsides. The downsides are the 2MC extra cost, the 3 science requirement, and the fact that you can put the floaters only on Jovians. That last point being almost irrelevant if you're not playing with Venus Next, since Colonies includes just one non-Jovian floater collecting card. The upsides are the VP and the fact that you can actually do something with the floaters with this card alone and don't need another card to put them on necessarily. The change in tags can be both good and bad. Science tag is more valuable in a vacuum, but if you have one or more Jovian multipliers down, a cheap tag like Jupiter Floating Station is basically the best thing you could find. And of course, same as floater technology, Jupiter Floating Station can help on Hoverlord, but to get it down fast can be tricky due to its requirement. Same goes for Rim Settler. For me, it clearly lands in the same tier as floater technology, low C tier. And for the last card of today, we're going to talk about Lunar Governor. This card is kinda weird as it's basically a mirror of Venus Governor, but is easier to play and has less upside. Let me explain. If you're playing with Venus Next, Colonies and Prelude, there are 34 non-event Earth tags and 33 non-event Venus tags, including Corps, Preludes and Projects. So basically the same amount. But Earth tags are on average much better and fit in all strategies, not just a Venus engine game plan. This means you'll play on average many more Earth tags than Venus tags, making Lunar Governor much easier to play. But Venus Governor has the additional upside of Venifile. It's basically the best card for it, and this award will be in every game no matter what map you play. There is no Earth tag milestone and just a Traveler award on Vastitas Borealis if you're playing on the board or on BGA. But aside from that comparison, how good is Lunar Governor? Well, it grants 2MC prot for 2MC less than sponsors, and to compensate for that you have to suffer a 3 Earth tag requirement. That trade-off is obviously not amazing, but the 2 Earth tags on the card can themselves still be useful for stuff like Cartel or Lunar Metropolis. All in all, I think it should be placed in the same tier as sponsors, the C tier. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments whether you agree with my ratings, or if not, how you would have rated these cards differently. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And lastly, please check out my Twitch and my Twitter. See you in the next video.